What is going on, gamers? It is your boy Tyro with my lovely goblin boy here.
Hello, it's me. I am Junie Boy. I am occasionally found inside your walls. Today is one of those days.
Eh, Uh, Today we are diving into the world of analog horror, as hosted by Junie today. Junie's taking the reins. Junie's taking the balls deep, and he is gargling on them, respectfully. Uh,
Absolutely.
all you, Junie boy.
I'm a bit of a fanatic for analog horror, and I figured we were going to try something different today. We're going to try some analog horror, and we could have. There's a couple of options. We could have done like Mandela Catalog, but I feel the Mandela Catalog isn't the best introduction to analog horror if it's not something you already know a lot about. I figured we would start with Greylock, which is a analog horror story about a mountain in Massachusetts called Mount Greylock, and there is something evil under the mountains in Mount Greylock, and there's a lot of spoopy stuff that ends up happening because of the things under the mountains. And
Interesting.
we're probably going to break this up into two parts. So we'll probably do part one now is going to cover the first 1 through 8 episodes because they're a little bit shorter because the last four together are about an hour and a half long, roughly something like that.
Hmm.
So we're gonna break it up, and this is gonna be a little bit new, and we're gonna try it out. But I'm hoping we're gonna have fun with it. I'm hoping I can drag you into the deep dark depths of analog horror. And if you do enjoy this, I've got plenty more options to go for.
I get addicted to things as quickly as a heroin addict, so you know,
Oh hell yeah!
I'm literally playing with magic cards as we speak. So I mean, I cannot say anything. I am an addict. Let's go.
All right, we're just gonna start it off then with tape one. I'm gonna full screen this for you.
Primary systems online. Mating sequence complete.
The fuck are we?
Emergency shutdown protocols disengaged.
We're in some kind
Systems
of
offline for
Lab?
some kind of lab from like maybe the 50s or
contact
60s.
technician for
Okay.
assistance. Welcome to Symbiodyne USA Enhanced Access Operations.
Very messed up
Please
looking
confirm
lab.
the clearance
Yeah, the
credentials.
50s and 60s just generally tend to fuck me up. Like, even if you just put like an untouched room since the 50s or 60s and put like a layer of dust on it, something's creepy about it.
Clearance
Oh
credential
yeah.
requirement overridden. Administrator privileges granted. Welcome back. Unknown user ID. What would you like to do? Accessing archival storage form, GBS. Data extraction initiated.
Okay, okay.
Data extraction, 10% complete. Data extraction, 4 complete.
At least we're extracting data and not might come
Data
like the aliens like
extraction,
to do.
80%
Oh yeah,
complete.
absolutely.
Data extraction complete. All data extracted to error, no.
All right. So before well, we'll just have it load up to the next one. Um, how much did you understand of what was going on? Like, were you able to hear any of the stuff the computer was saying?
I'm not like I didn't make much of it besides the fact that something was trying to steal data or
It
etc.
was the name that was important to remember was it was Semiodyne was the name of the company that they mentioned, the Semiodyne database.
Okay.
So it's someone trying to get into what looks like an old lab for a company called Semiodyne and trying to get any of their test data and stuff.
Okay.
But there's going to be more to mess with. So
All right.
it does. The first episode is just very precursor.
Yeah.
So we're just
Okay.
going to go right into tape two,
The Mountain Greylock.
to the mountain.
Believers, when men pursue evil, it is evil that they will find. Mark my words, there is
Already
no
ominous as
good
fuck, just
that
going
can
down a
come from
fucking
the
dark
pursuit
highway.
of darkness.
Oh yeah, I hate this
Not
stuff.
one street light.
Do you believe in the
Mm-mm.
words of the late brilliant Charles Spurgeon, who discussed this at length in a sermon
Sounds like
all
a
the way back in
priest.
1864?
Or like one of those people who
Yeah.
tells you repent or go to hell.
Our adversary,
Oh
the
yeah,
devil, goes about like
like a
a roaring
televangelist.
That's
lion,
literally exactly what it is,
seeking whom he
actually.
may devour. We are taught by our Lord Jesus to pray. Do not lead
Yup.
us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one.
Don't knock on my
What
door,
we
you
are
fat
taught to
bitch.
seek or shun in prayer, we should equally pursue or avoid in action. Very warily, therefore, therefore should we endeavor to avoid temptation, seeking to walk in the path of obedience, so that we may never be guilty of tempting the devil to tempt us. We are not to enter the thicket in search of the lion. We may pay dear.
You just cut to
Funny
him
you-
getting there?
Yeah, it kind of like cuts a bit of the drive, I guess you could say.
Okay.
It's funny you said that don't knock on my door, bitch. I found out that my neighbor is a Jehovah's Witness. My next door neighbor.
And we just shoot into the doorstep and ask him if he has a minute to talk about your Lord and Savior, prostate cancer.
Oh God. Blood on the snow.
The fuck?
When we will come
Okay.
face to face with the devil himself.
The religion may be the most uncomfortable there.
Or not be a believer, we are drawn to him by our own hearts. In Matthew chapter 15, verse 19, it says, "For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, slander." There is a shadow nested deep, deep within our hearts, within our minds, in a place most people don't even know exists within themselves. The devil is going to call to those depths, dear believer. And though you may tremble before the beast, you should make it easier on yourself and accept what it is that he bestows upon you.
Nothing could possibly go wrong speeding down a back fucking road with
Back
no
roads
lights.
in the middle of the no lights in the mountains, back roads. There's snow and stuff.
Let
Nothing
alone
bad could go
just
wrong.
the fact that you're in the back roads. Just a deer, so fucking fast. Deer just exist. They didn't exist, and then they are in your fucking bumper.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's
That's
that shit's scary enough. I don't fuck
that's
with it.
some of my other recommended stuff. Yeah, forgive. Let me pull back up Greylock. Ignore any of my my bizarre taste in videos,
We
please.
love Papa Meat. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. So did you hear what they were like? What the distorted audio was saying?
Not much besides the religious bullshit.
Well, so I'm talking the distorted audio when he was looking at like the trail of blood.
No, it sounded like mumble to me.
So it does sound like mumbles, but basically what it was saying was these hikers had basically found blood on the trail, which they had assumed belonged to an animal, and they had followed it down the path to find a human skull.
Oh, lovely.
And that they had been walking that path for over a decade, and nothing bad had ever really happened there.
Fantastic.
So definitely kind of leans to like, oh shoot, there's something bad going on in the mountains if you're now finding like a human skull out there.
Yeah, definitely some changes. Things are a changing.
Additionally, we can talk about how the it sounded like the preaching might have gotten a bit corrupted too, because
Okay.
the first bit of the preaching we heard was basically resist temptation, resist the
Yeah.
temptation to be
It sounded
tempted.
it sounded very standard, very, while not comforting, religious. At the yeah, that it went from very
Very.
religious to very cult. And while I do believe religion is a cult, I think that there is
This
two
was
different
definitely
ways.
like the point of this was like to make it feel very
Culty.
like okay, because you first listen to it and it's like okay, well that's just sounds like the typical preachy stuff you might hear. But
Yeah.
then the second time when he comes back to the car, it doesn't sound like they're talking about resisting temptation. They're talking about making it easy because the devil's going to tempt you anyways,
Yeah.
and it's just make it easy on yourself and accept what the devil's going to give to you. So it's like a
Makes sense.
complete tonal shift.
Yeah.
It's certainly a cause for alarm.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely felt more like devil culty than religious,
These
which not much difference, but
Yeah, I mean, and then there was also the knocking on the window, which we will come back to. That's also important. I won't lie, the knocking on the
ooh.
window is important. Write that down.
No, duly noted. If you're listening to Spotify or YouTube or wherever the fuck, or if you're on Junie stream in the future, which you should be, haha, subtle plugs, subtle
Write that
plugs.
stuff down.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So next up, we have the orientation protocols. Is the tape 3. We're gonna pull this right up.
They're showing the government my gender, and by that
Hold on.
I mean pulling out my
Important.
penis.
Oh well, of course. Important thing to remember. This name here,
Okay.
Alexander Michael Marsh. Write that down. Write that down.
Alexander Michael Marsh. Okay. Okay.
It's important.
I believe you. I'm listening.
All right. Continue. And then it does have like the FBI warning about like, oh, you're gonna get jail time if you replicate this.
Welcome to the preconditional protocols and orientation video system provided by Unit 13 as part of the United States Army and Project Stargate, created in partnership with Semiodyne USA. On behalf of all of us here at Unit 13, congratulations on your selection as one of our testing candidates. You likely have a lot of questions, and this video is designed to answer them all. First, let's go over some background information to provide you with the crucial context you'll need for a full understanding of what it is we're doing at Unit 13. We are sure you've heard plenty of rumors surrounding what it is that we do, but we are willing to bet that most everything you've heard is wrong. Being a highly confidential part of Project Stargate, which you've already been briefed on, Unit 13 studies a revolutionary and promising area of parapsychology, thought forms. If you're unfamiliar with what thought forms are, that's okay. You're in the majority. So, what are thought forms? Through the ages, occultists and spiritualists, Tibetan monks to theosophists, have exercised the creation of what is sometimes referred to as a tulpa, otherwise known as a thought form.
Mm-hmm.
A thought form is the manifestation
Yes.
of a person's will,
The titty fupa.
emotion, or
Tulpa.
otherwly
Yeah,
psychologically
so-
energized state into a semi-physical.
So, a tulpa is basically it's like they're saying this is actually true. There were plenty of spiritual beliefs from different backgrounds that basically believed if you either gathered enough people that believed in something, or someone who was very deeply spiritually connected believed in something enough, it could manifest it based on that alone.
Even that.
So, and yeah, imagine like being able to, like, you're so spiritually connected with the world around you that just imagining like a Taco Bell 5-layer burrito just manifested in front of you.
That's kind of hot.
That and the Project Stargate thing is not unusual. I believe there actually was a Project Stargate that the American government did try. There's been many different projects that like the American government has tried with like all sorts of different stuff that's been declassified. So perfectly right up the alley of like what we would expect from the government.
That's fair.
Form, existing as not only an extension of the person, but as its own independent and sentient entity. Thought forms are also able to be witnessed and experienced by third parties, and are not limited solely to the person who developed them. Thought forms have been formed to serve as familiars, companions, or even friends to those who conjure them. According to key literature, thought forms can be intentionally formed by a single person or multiple people, though they can be unintentionally formed as well. But they are always manifested through the deep will and focus of a person in a considerably heightened state of connectivity with their own consciousness. Traditional thought forms can vary widely in their level of influence in the real world. While they usually take physical formations eventually, their earliest stages are more apparitional in nature, with brief manifestations, though most often remaining as an unseen essence, much like a phantom or a ghost. At this phase,
So the thing that like kind of gets me is like, and this is kind of like, because it talks about like how it appears as like an apparition or like a ghost, which also does. They will mention it in a moment how like the possibility that ghosts existed is also the possibility that they were technically thought forms and not really ghosts. That people that were suffering in like a heightened state of grief basically imagined the dead back into existence, right?
Okay.
Now, this is more of a personal thing. The thing that gets to me is, and I've told this story before, that I have had this reoccurring nightmare, I guess you could say. It doesn't always start as a nightmare. I've had this reoccurring nightmare for the better part of like 15 years, right?
Okay.
That um basically it could just be like a normal dream of like me driving a car to go to the mall or something like that. But one of the things that will always happen is that there will always be this like woman in a white dress with long black hair somewhere outside my view, yeah?
Okay.
And
That's pretty creepy. Yeah.
anytime, well, it gets worse. Anytime I have this dream, she gets closer and closer.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
I I had
there's
a
there's there's a
recurring.
part of me
Okay. Go ahead.
there's a part of me that hopes like because I don't remember how close she was the last time I had that
Okay.
dream, and I'm hoping it's a bit further away.
Yeah, that makes sense. 100% understand that. Um, I feel that for sure. My childhood recurring fucking dream, or I guess nightmare. There was two of them. One of them, fucking Ghostface from the Scream franchise was constantly chasing me somewhere.
Mm.
Um, and I don't know. I guess my dad watched Scream as a he was my parents are young because they had me young, but my dad was watching Scream a whole lot whenever I was young. So I got introduced to horror way too early, and then it was in my nightmares, and it became a cool thing for me because now I'm addicted to it. Um, the other reoccurring nightmare was, if you watched The Nanny,
Yeah.
the dad from The Nanny,
Yes.
it was also him constantly chasing me. You don't know why. I don't
that's
fucking know why. It was horrifying though.
that's definitely the beauty of nightmares like that, is you just never know why.
Yeah, kind of hot. Kind of love it.
Yeah, sure. That's a word we'll use for it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep it going.
Alrighty.
thought forms and ghosts are very similar in a number of ways. Individuals can make contact with them through communication devices, such as a Ouija board or through EVP sessions, while the thought form may respond through moving objects, manipulating electronics, or even speaking words and short phrases. Due to their striking similarities, a current theory established by Unit 13 suggests that what we know as ghosts may not be as common as we once believed. Rather than a deceased person's energy being left behind after death, it's possible, and indeed likely, that these paranormal entities are actually thought forms that are unintentionally created by those individuals that the deceased has left behind, who spend inordinate amounts of time in deeply emotional states, where their mental capacity is largely occupied by a powerful focus on the departed individual. In other words, as these are the ideal conditions from which thought forms are born, people may very well create their own ghosts and hauntings. However, as more time and energy is invested into the development of the thought form, they begin to harness more influence on their environment, until eventually exhibiting a semi-permanent physical appearance, and, in due course, becoming as tangible as a living creature. This is where Unit 13's interest comes in. We've sought to answer a very important question. Can thought forms be created in a manner that would benefit American society and help keep American citizens safe? Unfortunately,
So, as is traditional like U.S. government thing, Okay, yeah, we've discovered this possibility that people are making their like manifesting their own ghosts and stuff. Um, how could we turn this into a weapon, says the US government.
Yeah, that sounds very U.S. government.
Oh, absolutely. I just find it like hilarious.
That's a fair point. Yeah,
It's like absolutely wild.
pretty
Practice of
horrifying.
intentionally
Sorry, what was that?
Pretty horrifying.
Oh yeah.
creating a thought form by traditional methods would undoubtedly take years and years of developmental training. So, Project Stargate has enlisted a world-renowned authority in thought forms, a man named Dr. Bernard Hayes, to oversee a number of the operations related to Unit 13's work. His participation has been invaluable and has brought fruitful results to the project. Due to Unit 13 and Semiodyne USA's combined efforts, bringing together some of the most prestigious minds in the world, specializing in the sciences of the human consciousness, with cutting-edge technology and engineering methods, we've created a groundbreaking, proprietary invention. Introducing the Thoughtform Manifester. The Thoughtform Manifester is able to create truly independent and self-sustaining thoughtform entities from the minds of select, willing participants. Being that they come from the deepest recesses of the human mind, thought forms can appear in virtually any configuration. They could look like a person, an object, an animal, or even something as abstract as the physical representation of an emotion. That being said, it's recommended to brace yourself before touring the thought form chambers, as thought forms can also take on appearances that could be considered disturbing, like a creature one might see in a childhood nightmare. There's no reason to be afraid, however. All thought forms are docile by nature, and while they may look or
They
behave
sure are
Debatable.
docile. Yeah, debatable.
capable of
What the
direct
fuck?
physical contact, they pose no threat to humans. Once your session in the thought form manifester is completed, your thought form will be securely transported directly into a containment chamber. Thought forms are unable to pass through the barrier of and will not be capable of causing you any issues. There are some very rare potential side effects that may result from your session. These side effects include increased tiredness, loss of balance, dizziness, insomnia, vomiting, episodes of temporary amnesia, and mild hallucinations. These
mild
side effects,
hallucinations?
if present,
Yeah, we like
will
mild
clear up within
hallucinations.
72 hours of your session, and are simply signs of your brain recalibrating to the real world. It is recommended you refrain from driving or operating heavy machinery for 72 hours after your session, even if you experience no side effects. None of these side effects should cause you any harm or overt stress, and former testing candidates who have experienced these side effects reported that they were very mild and merely a transient inconvenience. With all that out of the way, we are looking forward to your participation with Unit 13, and your time in the Thought Forum Manifester has been scheduled. However, there are several required mind exercises as a part of this video system that must be completed prior to your scheduled date in order to prime your consciousness and ensure the highest quality results. Please enter the video cassette labeled TF2, Waking Your Subconscious, now. This is the end of this tape.
This is the end of While I Gape. Okay.
You like the gape.
I feel like someone who likes paranormal shit, and that's kind of like always been a thought process, is that like all these things are like manifestations or like your emotions, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So that
That
definitely
like
makes sense.
the physical manifestation is caused by like emotional or psychological manifestation of like trauma
Grief,
and stuff.
etc. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a very strong possibility. Like it's one of those things that like just like how ghosts haven't necessarily been able to be proved real. It there is the possibility that our heightened senses could cause these things to manifest,
Yeah.
which I
Definitely.
think is always kind of like an interesting theory.
100%.
Yeah. Um, that was like the other important thing to remember from that last one is like they're talking about the thought form manifester being like that, basically that big machine that they showed where it looks like someone sits in it and then they just like do some wickety doo-dah stuff in your brain and then it summons a thought form that you think of.
Yeah.
That's an important thing. It's a nice little piece of technology that I'm sure won't be detrimental to everyone around them.
Never is.
No, of course not. They only have our best interests at heart.
Always.
On to tape 4, Unexpected Visitors. We're going through these pretty fast, but,
We're going balls deep.
that's, yeah.
Like it. It's a cool thing to be able to experience. A lot of interest in it.
Yeah. Looks like there's someone in the left window. Hold on.
Give me a
I'm going
repeat.
back because
Yep, give me that
Right there.
refuck. Oh, yeah. I did
I'm gonna
not
be
see
honest
that.
with you. No, you know what's the worst part? I have watched this series like 3 times over, and I've never seen that.
Oh, Jesus.
That actually kind of gives me chills.
I mean, we as humans naturally find faces in things where there aren't faces,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if it's that or if it's supposed to. I don't know. Like Skinamarink specifically.
Oh
Like
yeah.
whenever they did that, like sometimes there is fucking faces in the night, and sometimes it's your face is playing or your mind's playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
Never really know.
Periidola, I think is what that's called. It's like periidola, very interesting psychological thing. Getting those creep shots.
I feel like a peeping Tom myself, trying to see what's actually there.
Yeah.
We know who we're seeing from the perspective of.
I believe we do, but I think the information's lost on me at the moment.
Okay.
Or we find out later who it was.
Okay.
Like, it's not someone that's been mentioned yet.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. There hasn't been much exposition by any means. You kind of just jump into it and
Yeah, it
you learn
does
as you
do
go.
good callbacks to, like, previous videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it
that
will
makes
be
sense.
explained. It's got the screen out of the window.
Not horrifying by any means.
No. This is like watching from a killer's perspective as they break into your house. The squeakiest windows.
Yeah, they really fucking are.
I mean, that's a... It might have helped this person.
You can't. It's like, obviously you want to fucking have the information, but like, not knowing if this person is doing something good or like, you would assume malicious based on the fact they're fucking breaking into someone's house, but like, I don't really know what the fuck they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Does not sound like it was good intentions.
Not at all.
to thank my producer, my writers, my director, my friends,
Bro does not look like a human being.
and you.
I remember this. If I can't remember the name of it, it's like in.
Premieres after moonlighting tomorrow.
It was actually like some weird thing they did in like the 80s or early 90s.
It's creepy.
We interrupt our current program at the request of the Massachusetts State Police. This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. All normal broadcasting has been discontinued during the emergency. This station will broadcast official information, news, and instruction for northern Berkshire County, Massachusetts, after the following tone.
At 3:34 a.m., Massachusetts State Police confirmed the presence of a potential group of active and unidentified home invaders who have targeted 49 residences since approximately 11:15 p.m. last night. The attacks appear to be random, spanning across the towns of North Adams, Cheshire, Savoy, and Windsor. Residents are urged to take the following actions immediately. Wake all occupants of your home. Lock all doors and windows. Close all curtains and blinds. Gather in a secure area of your home where multiple exits are available to prevent yourself from being cornered. Additionally, residents are urged to arm themselves with a blunt object or firearm if available and licensed. Only resort to self-protection if a suspect has entered your home, poses an active threat to you or your family, and you are unable to escape safely. If you are currently away from home, we are urging you not to return home at this time. Shelter in place where you are. If you are currently not in a secure area or in a vehicle, immediately head to your closest 7-Mart. Each 7-Mart location is currently being used as a safe area and as police stationed for your protection. Remain in your secure area until the threat has been resolved. Police are currently unable to determine a physical description of any of the assailants involved in these attacks. It is strongly advised you do not open your home to anyone you do not intimately recognize. Do not attempt to search for or engage with any suspects. The suspects are considered armed and extremely dangerous. Do not leave your secure area unless necessary. This is for your safety. Law enforcement will be armed and patrolling your area. Interfering with this investigation can result in lethal force being inadvertently.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You know, living in the woods is fucking horrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, whenever I lived in the middle of the woods, I didn't live that far out of civilization whatsoever, but, like, you shit's still fucky. Just, like, no matter what.
Oh, trust me, I've lived in the woods. It can be a little bit freaky, especially at night.
Yeah. All right, well, that wasn't horrifying.
So yeah, I believe there was like actually able to determine when everything was happening based on the broadcast, because like we saw the broadcast of the head, like the weird fucking talking head thing.
Yeah.
And if I remember, this was like 88 or 89. I could be wrong. It's one of those things I'd have to look up myself, but what we did kind of draw from that is that, like, you know, the first video was like from the perspective of one of the people breaking into the houses, like they were saying in the emergency broadcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing really good.
Yeah, nothing great's happened so far, and I guess that was just a random civilian in the middle of the night in the woods, like in their house. Like they weren't attacked by the invaders or like the home invaders or anything, right? They were just
they got attacked. Who do you think was grabbing through the window?
Well, that was a hand grabbing through the window that was like actually a human and not. That makes sense.
I mean, it's one of the. Well, I didn't say the home invaders were human.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looked very non-human to me, so I was fucking confused as shit. But yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so one of the things that they basically said in the emergency broadcast was like, don't let anyone in that you're not immediately intimately familiar with.
Yeah.
So, you know, anyone that's not like your immediate close family, because I mean, we'll talk about that in like probably with like I think it's the next tape after this one, because it does kind of like draw a lot of like connections between it. Like it's there's a lot of plot points that are currently like hanging, free floating in air that haven't had all the lines drawn between them just yet.
Okay.
But it's gonna get to there.
We got some mana floating, what you're saying.
Basically, yeah. We're floating 2 blue mana just in case we need it.
Just to be as cancerous as possible.
Just to have that counter spell ready.
Absolutely.
Alright, on to tape 5.
Well, hello again, Tiffany.
Oh, hi, Wanda. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. No dad this time.
No, unfortunately, he couldn't get off work today, so I'm gonna have to call him on a payphone to let him know all the details as soon as we're done.
Don't know why it's saying
He's
YouTube on
excited
the
to be a
bottom.
dad, huh?
Oh, yes, he certainly
Weird.
is. We both can't wait to be parents.
Aw, and you said you've been together since high school, right?
Yep,
That's so sweet. And have you decided on a name for your baby boy yet?
yep. We're going with Max.
Ooh, Max, huh? That's a nice, strong name.
That's why my fiance wanted it.
That's a
so
straight,
bad.
nice, strong
He
dog
said
name.
it'll help make him strong
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Like a
That's
golden
a pretty good
retriever.
way of thinking about it. So let's see how strong
A nice
little Max
fucking
is
name
when
you
he
can
gets
throw a
ready
ball
to
to.
make that call.
Yeah, yeah.
He's been moving around like crazy the past couple of weeks, so I think he's really strong. Strong enough to kick so hard I almost throw up sometimes, too.
Aw, what a wild boy. Activity is good.
He's a wild boy. Wild boy.
Wild child.
Okay, hopefully this isn't too cold.
No, it's okay.
There he is. He's definitely a growing boy, that's for sure. And you're both looking really good.
Oh, I love hearing that.
Let's get some measurements to see exactly how much he's grown.
What was
So we're gonna go back a
The
little
fuck?
bit. We're gonna go back a frame.
Okay.
This is gonna be important, I promise. I just have to go frame by frame so we don't miss it.
Okay.
Give me 1 sec. Right here.
Events leave Berkshire's in terror. Authorities mute. Is it like a corpse that was murdered?
Yes. It's hard to read it. I wonder if I can turn the quality up or if it's just gonna. Yeah, it's only. We'll just see if it like turning the. It's analog for. It's probably not gonna do it, but I believe there's another one coming up. Also, hold on. Let me go back because we saw something else that was there too. Okay, hold on, wait for it.
Yeah, it looked like we were just making our first trip to the zoo real quick, in my opinion, but
Wanted to see if I can spot it again.
we're getting that Junie enhance and zoom.
I love doing my my due diligence right there.
Shit, Michael Myers is here.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
What was that?
I don't know. I've never seen that before. Maybe
I
something
sure
to do with
fucking
the
hope
power.
not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Don't worry, Susie. That happens all the time. Everybody has a giant, grown,
This is a bit strange.
horrifying man in their pussy, actually.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about or anything. Just having some trouble finding the baby all of a sudden.
Maybe the machine messed up?
Possibly. But I can still see everything else. It's just not picking up the baby for some reason.
Has this ever happened before?
Well, sometimes babies can move into certain positions that are hard to see.
But you can't see my baby at all?
I'm looking. Don't worry, he's definitely here. You know what? Why don't we just see if we can borrow another machine, okay? There has to be something wrong with this one. I'll be right back.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
No.
This can't be happening. The baby doesn't know your why? That makes no sense. I know.
Is it happening?
Here, so this is kind of another important thing. Tiffany Cristaldi. I wonder if we can see the the text a little bit better. Elementary school teacher, 29. Drive Adams died.
Unexpectedly, Monday morning, she had suffered or after the sudden something of her unborn son.
Mm-hmm. She had suffered tremendously after the sudden loss of her unborn son, Maxwell Marsh.
Okay, so it's Alexander Marsh was the dad? Then?
Yes.
Okay.
Tiffany is his wife.
Okay.
So one of the current theories with this is that basically this would have been after Alexander had gone through the thought form manifester. So the current theory is that them wanting to be parents so badly actually thought form manifested basically her being pregnant.
Oh.
And then something happened while she was getting her scan done that caused the baby to disappear. So the baby wasn't necessarily real the whole time.
Okay.
Which is absolutely horrifying to think about.
Yeah, especially if you're hearing the sounds like that, and the doctor is saying your baby's super healthy and shit.
Yeah, 1 second it's there, and then the next second it just disappears from you.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Mm-hmm. But this also looks like an obituary where it says she died shortly after.
This is fair, yeah.
All right, we're going to go right to the next video. This video is where it starts talking about some of the very, very interesting stuff. Also, the name there, Dr. Bernard T. Hayes. Who was he?
We've talked about him before, but I can't remember who the fuck he is.
He was the doctor who had basically pioneered the thought form manifester.
Okay.
Humanity has fought tirelessly past through a great many trials of intellectual fortitude to achieve but one singular goal. A goal that countless men have withered away and died in pursuit of, leaving their towers of work behind, to be climbed upon by coming generations. Higher and higher they ascend, so that we will at last reach the one called God. And there, on his apex of infinite knowledge and power, we will approach and look him in the eye. As an equal.
That never ends well, you know?
Never. Never once.
Humanity trying to look God in the eyes.
Welcome back, user. Frank Porter. Please enter your credentials. Credential requirement bypassed by system administrator. Greetings, unknown user ID. Welcome to Semiodyne USA's virtual message assistant, for user. Project director, Frank Porter. Establishing custom telephone message settings. Sender, Paul Morelli, Ev. The Morelli Construction and Mining Company. Dates of receipt ranging from March 24th, 1987, to
Yeah, so this was like 87, 88 was when all this was happening.
beginning playback of your
Makes
messages.
sense, yeah.
Message
Sounds
one.
about the right time frame.
March 24th, 11:14 a.m.
Hey Frank, it's Paul Morelli. We ran into somewhat of an issue today. We came across these tunnels inside the mountain, pretty deep in, but well, this is gonna sound a little crazy, but he told me to call if anything strange came up, and I figured this qualifies. People have been here before. Some obviously man-made shit in there, like carvings and stone. This shit looks ancient, like real old. I took a crew in to look through it, but it seems part of the tunnels caved in some time ago. We're gonna just have to bust through it regardless. But I still wanted to make you aware of it. Anyways, I'll keep you in the loop. Thanks.
Message 2. March 25th, 7:38 a.m.
Hey Frank, it's Paul. Just calling to tell you the day might be a bit slower than usual. Unfortunately, a number of the crew are sick as dogs. Not really sure what kind of stomach bugs going around or what, but we'll do our best to pick up slack. I'm calling in some guys who have a day off, so hopefully things will get a little closer to normal, you know. That being said, I don't know how the hell this happened, but the section of the tunnel here I caved in is clear. Tunnel's been wired up with a few lights, too. Wanted to see if maybe you sent someone in while we were off shift. Night crew said you didn't, but, I didn't see anybody else either, so... But a few of the guys said they'd seen something running around in the woods surrounding the site. I figured it's probably a deer or whatever, but seeing all the ruckus we're making out here, But they all insisted it was something else. Something like a real tall man. Might just be some environmentalist moron trying to cause some shit, but, he ain't done nothing, so I told him to keep focused on the project. For safety's sake, we're going to avoid the tunnel until I hear back from you. All right, bye now.
Message 3. March 25th, 4:56 p.m.
This would only be like 8 hours
The
later.
guy you sent out to take photos just left, but, he seemed totally fine when he got here, but we practically had to carry him back to his car when it was done. I don't know if he caught whatever's going around, but figured you should know.
We're just getting litty titty on the job site.
Really old shit down there, Frank. Now, I ain't no historian, but we got a guy on the crew who used to do archaeology work or whatever, and I don't know. But I guess there's some old artifacts down there, like weapons and trinkets and whatever. I'll have him draft up a report for you and send it your way, because I feel like you'd be interested, and he can explain all this shit better than I could anyways.
How the fuck are you going to stumble upon an ancient set of artifacts? Motherfuckers like, yeah, there's some trinkets and some fucking ancient weapons and stuff, but we're just gonna keep going ahead if you don't mind. Actually, I'll let you know.
Also, mind you, this is in Massachusetts. They're finding like all these ancient trinkets and stuff.
Yeah,
in a mountain.
the place of great time before, back whenever fucking I don't even who was even in Massachusetts before, like maybe Native Americans, but like other than that.
Okay, firstly, the video saying intro and then gameplay for all of this. It's broken up into segments. I never realized that, but I think that's funny that it is broken up that way. Also, who just has like a guy who used to do archaeology on hand at a dig site like this?
I mean, a dig site kind of makes sense, but like, why the fuck would you? I don't know. It just feels like a weird jump, I guess. Like, granted, if you're digging and you're an archaeologist, like they're very similar, but like, I don't know what the project is. I guess
Yeah.
Maybe the project has some like sensitive shit already. Maybe give them benefit of the doubt. Devil's advocate here, but I don't know. Who's like digging in a sandbox and just like make sure they bring their fucking archaeologist friend with them?
Yeah.
Hello, the coincidence, I suppose. I don't know.
Oh yeah, very very fortunate coincidence.
About it. All right. Bye.
Message 4. March 26th, 1:03 p.m.
Frank, something ain't right here. Crew's getting worse, more sick. I feel okay so far, but I don't know how long that's gonna last. I saw that thing the guys have been talking about last night, stalking around in the tree line. I swear it had a face. Anyways, just call me back as soon as you can, Frank.
Why the fuck you not dipping after you see something stalking you in the fucking tree line?
Something he can't even tell it has a face or not.
All our food is rotten, totally spoiled and covered in maggots. It was perfectly fine and stored. There wasn't any problems with the generator, even if we lost power. I mean, it's the end of March. All our food looks like it's been left out in the heat for weeks. No idea what's going on. Please call me back.
I would just get out of there.
Yeah.
March 27th, 4:02 p.m.
It's Paul. We saw it again. Something out here with us. It's in the woods. And it's watching us, goddammit. It ain't no animal either. Who are you guys gonna put up those fancy hunting cameras and see if we can catch anything? Maybe locals fucking with us? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah. Anyways, I just.
Okay, so it immediately just cuts to him actually putting hunting cameras up. So they did, or did they already
Yeah,
have them?
they put up hunting cameras. They
There's no
just
time and
changed.
date between the two, but
Well, actually, hold on. Was there no time or date there? Let me go back.
the one in the middle between the
March 28th, 87. So this is like the very day of, like this is right before midnight.
go like there's like a little screen where it shows like all of the like time. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so this
it goes from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. So within 12 hours, he comes and gets shit set up, but like
Mhm.
I don't know. It's weird.
Unavailable. Message.
Wow, it's a cool flashlight.
Yeah, cool like cloud that just kind of passes over.
Message 8. March 29th, 10:13 p.m.
Frank, it's Paul. Holy shit, well, a lot of the crew here is sick now, and they're sort of like unresponsive. We tried emergency contacts for them, but they just keep ringing. The phones, they just kept ringing and ringing and ringing. Nobody picked up from any number we tried. Nobody picked up. No answer machines either. Made a call to the hospital, and same thing. Just ringing. Just tried 911, still nothing. I figured the phones were fucked up, but the machine actually picked up.
He's not going crazy at all.
No, absolutely not.
Nothing weird about that.
I think I caught whatever's going around. My skin, it feels tight. A lot of pressure behind my eyes. My teeth feel like they're humming, vibrating.
Well, he just did meth. Okay.
You know what? This all started when we came across that tunnel. I feel like I need to figure out what's down there. I think whatever's down there could help my crew, but most of all, I feel like something really bad's gonna happen if I don't go down, so I'm going down tonight.
That feels like a bad choice.
Yeah, probably. Doesn't sound like it's doing good for his health.
No, he's getting a little bit sticky wicky.
Message 9. March 30th, time unavailable.
Oh, jeez.
That's our boy, Paul.
Paul's fucked.
He looks like he's doing so good.
Paul looks like an uncooked hamburger.
Yeah. So, since it's almost towards the end of the video, one of the things that like we hear like the screams and stuff, what sounds like possibly the other members of the crew screaming.
Yeah.
So, currently, I think what ended up happening was they went down into those tunnels, and the whole crew basically were the people that were attacking the town and breaking into houses and stuff and killing people after they got corrupted by whatever's
Ooh.
down in the mountain.
That's a cool theory.
Additionally, we saw like the weird shimmer in front of the camera that just kind of moved away.
Yeah.
I think what that is a thought form that hasn't fully manifested quite yet.
Okay.
Like that is what the visual aspect of it would look like.
I fuck with that.
Which is very cool as a concept, like some predator camouflage type thing, and I love it.
Yeah.
So let's just see.
This is the end. of your messages.
This is the end.
The vague darkness being so choppy just always makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. The rising audio.
Yeah.
And there's that face again.
Wonder if that face comes back.
I mean, that was the face
from the
of
other one.
From where we saw it in like where she was getting her ultrasound. That was the same face.
Yeah.
So now we have tape 7 back to normal.
That's probably debatable.
Oh, it's all a lie.
Wave that swept across northern Berkshire County, left many of its residents in a state of anxiety and panic. It was 2 weeks ago when the emergency broadcast system was engaged to warn residents to secure their homes due to the activity of a group of individuals who had been targeting and breaking into people's homes. Authorities have since confirmed that the attacks were, in fact, part of an organized criminal effort and have been attributed to a local anti-American militia group operating out of western Massachusetts called... Police have made numerous arrests in connection to militia, and officials continue to release statements to assure the public that they are safe once again.
We've seen a lot of credible information over the past couple of weeks, and the investigation's still ongoing. We're getting closer by the day.
Thankfully, due to the continued efforts of law enforcement, life has been able to return back to normal. Back to normal. Back to normal. To normal. To normal. To normal. Back to normal for residents of Berkshire County.
Gonna go back a second. I mean, I do like that it says liar, because he did fucking lie, but yeah.
Yeah.
But we always gotta look at the... Once it is right here.
It's only tip of the iceberg, says Jim Melgren, a former police officer who now works as a private investigator and hosts a radio show centered around government transparency and accountability. There are horrifying reports of people, healthy grown adults, being deformed, growing extra limbs, teeth growing out of their scalp, people developing severe mental conditions, or even sicknesses doctors have never seen.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
And then if we go back even here, this is Alex and Tiffany.
Okay.
And this is them. This is a shot of them after they discuss the bizarre loss of their child. So yeah, that's another name to remember. Jim Melgren.
Okay.
Just always understand that like any name you see pop up is always going to be relevant.
Okay.
And then this is tape 8. Okay, yeah. Oh. So which just kind of cuts in after the previous one ended.
Okay.
So yeah, they talked about how in the previous tape they talked about how the government has quote unquote investigated and found out that it's a militia group and that everything's getting back to normal, guys, but as it turns out the influence of whatever's in the mountain is just spreading and horrible things are happening.
Fantastic.
Very much so. All right, so now we've got tape 8, Old Odd Ends. And it takes up right where the previous tape ended.
Okay.
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
Alan Rosenbaum, Samantha Greenwich, and Liam Hollander. Not names we've heard before.
No, these are new names. And the signal was, they're talking about how the broadcast was hijacked, and that's what we saw at the end.
Okay.
But by then, the hijacker had already said everything they wanted to say, hadn't they?
Yes, sir.
What a complete fuck up. They made us look like a fucking joke.
Fucking joke, bro. Beans on toast.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, Don, where the fuck is he? I cannot get hold of him, and he needs to get in here and read a statement to help clean up this fucking mess.
Well, we've been trying to reach him. We've called him multiple times. We've tried to
The change in the pictures there, kind of interesting. Is there a reason
It's
for
just
that?
to show who is talking at the time.
Okay. It's just Discord.
Yeah. Basically Discord. This is
PNG
1980s Discord.
PNG reactives in Discords, the VTubers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you kick down his front door and drag him here by his ear. You bring him into the studio. Do you understand? Yes, Mr. Rosenbaum. Of course, I'll do that right now. There's some real powerful people depending on us right now. They need us to manage the response to these events, to let the public know what's going on, and the last thing we need is it going wider than it already fucking has. So do what you
It does make you wonder why they're sounding British when this is America.
Yeah.
know how to produce a fucking show.
Oh, fucking show.
The file you are trying to
Also,
access
sorry, one
has been
second.
destroyed and can no longer
Give me 2 seconds.
Gucci.
Let me see, because I thought I saw something for a brief moment. I always like to do this. This is the one thing about analog horror stuff is they hide things in like frames.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I saw anything. No.
Sorry,
No,
the
okay,
file
we're good.
you are trying to access has been destroyed and can no longer be executed or retrieved. Please choose another file. Sorry. It said I'll take my file and trying to destroy or trying. Warning, anomalous file detected. This file should not exist. Are you sure you wish to proceed? Opening
file. Arnold Rivers personal log.
Final.
This is the guy that took the photographs in the like.
The date is April 8th.
He went to take the pictures of the dig site.
Okay.
9 at night. I was involved in the Morelli construction project at Mount Greylock. I was hired due to my background in anthropology and archaeology. I've worked to excavate a number of different historical sites. Paul Morelli took me on after securing a government contract for the Greylock project. I'm recording this because I believe my life is in danger, and I likely don't have a lot of time left, so I need to leave some kind of record of my findings. On March 24th, our crew came across tunnels in the mountain that held a multitude of ancient markings and artifacts. On March 25th, Paul cleared the interior of the mountain and asked me, accompanied by a small crew, to look through the tunnels and record notes on what I was able to recognize. I was then to report to one of the project directors, named Frank Porter, to offer my perspective on our findings. I kept this to myself at the time, but what we discovered in that mountain was not normal. Not only did I see the impact it was having on the crew, but certain aspects of my findings did not make any sense. Many of the artifacts were pre-colonial. Some were from Native American tribes, but there were other artifacts, some Mesoamerican, and others were shockingly Clovis in nature. Finding Clovis artifacts here means that people have been coming to Mount Greylock since at least 11,000 BCE. But that's not all, no. There are artifacts I found that could potentially be from even earlier, Paleo-American cultures that we have yet to even begin studying. Then, there were artifacts and writings left by the cultures that were pre-Columbian in nature. Transoceanic contacts prior to Columbus reaching the Americas has always been largely a theory, but the artifacts in this mountain, they prove it. Ancient Chinese, Arabic, Indian, Roman, Spanish, Viking, even ancient
yes.
Greek and
Viking.
Egyptian.
Yeah.
Findings that they alone would
They couldn't just say Norse or anything.
No.
today. I'll admit, the anthropologist in me was thrilled. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I figured it had to be a hoax, but I'm confident that it's all authentic. But my excitement was soon replaced with a looming fear and anxiety. How could such a place be so important to so many cultures for so long? There must be something immense here. Whatever it was, well, that's why I left the project. The tunnels all connected to a series of chambers deep into the interior of the mountain. That's where a majority of the relics were found. There were old baskets of herbs and spices, pottery, weapons and armor, talismans, and other religious items, countless other things, but all of it was there purposely, as offerings.
So, one of like he was talking about that like there's all these different civilizations going to this mountain from all across the world that are all basically like coming there to leave offerings to
Okay.
whatever's in the mountain. Now, what I think personally, I have no confirmation of it yet because it's been a while since they've put out a new video. What I personally think is deep under the mountain, and this is going to be a bit of a stretch, is some type of god. And there's a lot of context clues, like, they talk about humanity's hubris, about trying to match, like, they want to walk down and look at God eye to eye, and how the influence of this place is, like, basically corrupting people and drawing people in to want to leave offerings for it. There is some type of deity down here that is also manifesting the thoughts of other people into reality.
Lovely.
Yeah, very horrifying stuff. Also, I do love that it starts with cosmic mystery. So it's like, yeah, there's Cthulhu in the mountain. Sorry, guys, not much you can do about it.
There is definitely a religious undertone in some places. I mean, it makes sense.
It's more borderline like with mysticism and
Spiritualism kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is also going to be an interesting part here too. Night Hiking, Episode 13, Mount Greylock.
It was billions of years ago, when our planet was still mostly fire and rock, that a Mars-sized planet that had been drifting through our solar system collided directly with the Earth. The impact was so powerful and violent that the rogue planet was blown into countless pieces of...
My balls whenever they swing while I'm running in a fucking... I don't fucking know. Something like that. Some reference.
Yep. So that's another one of like the context clues there too, was whatever collided with the Earth before life had even existed on it, part of it is still there down in Mount Greylock that is influencing people. So the possibility could be that the meteor, like the planetoid that collided with it, was something living.
Okay.
Which
I think
is
there's also like some theories for like Earth where like an asteroid hit us and there was like life forms of some sort that then were transferred onto our planet.
Yeah.
I mean, like it all has like theories based in things that aren't just itself, so it's not even like that outlandish,
Yeah, like that's the beauty of a lot of this stuff, is that a lot of that what they are talking about isn't like they're just pulling things out of the ether. There have been these theories for a long time.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's very easy to get into because of it.
Makes sense.
Right.
Adams Police Department, Dispatcher Carey speaking.
Hit him a sperm bank, you spank it, we wank it.
To report a break-in at my coworker's house. What is your name, sir?
My name is Liam Hollander.
Okay, Liam, you said this was your coworker's house? What is your
And if you remember, Liam Hollander
He was at
one of
the
the producers.
meeting.
Yeah.
Parker Hill Road in Adams, number 491.
491 Parker Hill Road, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me, is anybody hurt? Liam, are you still with me?
Yes, sorry.
Is anybody hurt?
Yes.
So there's the newscaster. He's dead.
Big liar, bitch.
Out of the mountain stone, along with evidence of mass animal and human sacrifice, and the carvings in the walls of these sacrificial chambers. I couldn't recognize a single familiar symbol, and it made me sick to even look at them. Let me be clear. I am not, nor have I ever been, a religious man. But there's something in that mountain. Something people of countless cultures over the history of our planet have been worshipping.
Why not just nuke that shit?
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I could feel it. Whatever's down there, I could feel it. It was like being trapped in a fever dream. I swear I could hear a voice, and even felt compelled to go further, to speak to whatever's down there. I don't know. I haven't been right since. I keep hearing this droning in my head, ceaseless, all day and night. I can't sleep. sleep, just droning, always droning. But that doesn't matter right now. I informed Mr. Porter in my report that the archaeological findings in the mountain are of monumental historical importance, and that there is certainly more to be discovered. And I recommended discontinuing construction there. But it's not as though I have any authority over this project. I fully expected to be ignored. Mr. Porter called me on the evening of March 28th, and we spoke on the phone briefly. It was as I thought. He disregarded my concerns. I informed him that I wasn't going to return to the site. He insisted I did, said I was a valuable asset to the project, even offered me a substantial raise, and wanted me to lead a specifically organized team that would clear the tunnels of artifacts before excavation would continue. I, quote unquote, could be responsible for the biggest historical finding of all time, he said. I refused again. I won't put a price on my sanity or my health, especially after seeing what was happening to the crew.
Now loading. Morale Greylock event, Group C, Survivor Data. Profile for patient B3590. Rockford, Thomas.
So these are people that were working at the
mountain, like the dig site.
Yeah.
Communicative. Patient prone to spontaneous violent outbursts. Treatment of heavy sedation recommended. Only communicate while patient is restrained or via intercom. Now loading. Profile for patient B9231. Washington, Samuel. Malformations. Notes. Communicative. Patient suffers from constant state of severe paranoia and delusions, resulting in unpredictable violent outbursts. Standard treatment ineffective. High-dose xylazine is recommended. Only communicate while patient is restrained or via intercom. Now loading. Profile for patient B6670. Herrera, Ramon.
He looks like a nice guy.
Malformations.
Maybe not so nice anymore.
All right, well, that's the choice.
Patient appears to be in catatonic state. Warning, patient may sit up very suddenly, without provocation, to projectile vomit at any staff in area.
Why?
Patient's vomit is extremely corrosive and emits smoke gas. All treatments ineffective. Studies must be conducted with full anti-corrosive gear and air purifying respirator equipped on all staff involved. Now loading. Profile for patient B8816. Fleming, Charles. Malformations. Notes. Uncommunicative. Warning, patient will attack on site. Do not interact.
Bro, looks like he's been fucking gnawing on your radium.
He has been eating some bad stuff.
Immediate euthanasia recommended.
Jesus Christ, that's fucking insane looking.
Oh yeah.
His teeth
These are just
green
the
and-
ones that they managed to catch, mind you.
Oh, great.
Malformations. Notes.
Oh, lovely.
Communicative. Communicate with caution. Warning, patient actively pretends to be benevolent and friendly. Strong homicidal and cannibalistic tendencies.
Oof.
Killed and partially consumed 6 staff members on April 6, 87. Patient laughed hysterically during the attack. All treatments ineffective. Immediate euthanasia or permanent restraint for further study recommended. Now loading. Profile for patient B7992. Kowalski, Edward. Malformations. Notes. Communicative.
He's just a little zombie-like.
Warning, patient possesses inhuman power of suggestion and influence over others. Do not interact. All treatments ineffective. Immediate euthanasia recommended. Now loading. Profile for patient B1584. Rafferty, John.
John's just a chill guy.
Seems like a chill dude.
Notes.
Well, now he's coming.
Communicative. Hazardous. Patient appears to be deceased. No vital signs. Patient's body not decomposing. Warning, staff have become ill after even brief time spent in patient's room. Illness disregards protective suiting. Immediate quarantine required for all victims. Mortality rate post-exposure currently 92%. Survivors subject to rapid physical and mental malformations. All treatments ineffective. Immediate remote euthanasia recommended.
Just throw a grenade in there with him.
Blow that shit up.
Right now. Oddly, he quickly accepted my second refusal, wished me luck in my future endeavors, but before I could say anything else, he'd hung up. But it seemed I'd made the right choice. I heard something awful happened up at Mount Greylock, and then simultaneously, there are all of these things that have been happening around the mountain. The home invasions, the dead bodies that fell from the sky over Cheshire, the pregnancy phenomena, so many other unexplainable things. They all must be.
See, he talked about like the bodies that were falling out of the sky too.
Yeah.
Which is something that hasn't even been like mentioned even previously. But you could assume that like something, okay, this is like this is kind of like, okay, so I want to double check something, right? Because this takes place in 87, right?
Yeah.
When? Hold on. I have to confirm something. This just kind of came to me. So, okay, here's the thing. It's talking about the bodies falling out of the sky. This is headcanon for me that whatever god or something was in the mountain caught the radio waves for the song "It's Raining Men."
Huh.
Because it would have that song came out in 1982.
Look, I want to believe that's true. I do.
I have no confirmation of that.
I want to believe that god was just ironically calling everyone gay by non-ironically raining men upon everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's just my headcanon right now.
That's kind of a chill god, if you ask me.
Yeah. I could befriend this god.
I could dap him up once or twice.
And I've been trying to figure out how. I've connected with a local investigator who's been trying to get to the bottom of this. I've shared with him everything I have, though I feel that I've been being watched. I feel a looming threat.
It's me. I'm in your walls. Me and Junie together.
Yeah. I'm always watching.
Someone to kill me over this? I feel like I'm paranoid.
You are paranoid.
I've lost some of my mind. But I came home from the grocery store the other day, and my front door was unlocked. And I know I had locked it before I left. I scanned my entire house for traces of anything, but found nothing out of the ordinary. I even checked and replaced all of the light bulbs.
That's paranoia.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Saying it out loud like this, it makes me realize how crazy I sound.
Oh.
I've always been a rational man. There's a logical explanation behind everything.
For sure, but no, not really. That's a lie.
Well,
there's probably an explanation.
There's a logical explanation to everything, Mr. Man. Why do I cry after I come? Huh? Riddle me that one, Riddler.
I feel much better just talking
yes.
about it.
Yes.
This can't be. Oh my God, that's the basement door. No. Camcorder. Oh, where's the damn camcorder? Here it is. Thank God.
They're here. I'm inside my bedroom closet. I'm going to keep the tape recorder running, and I'm hiding in here with my files. If something happens to me, and you find any tapes or files somehow, please bring it to the investigator, Jim Malcolm of North Adams. That goes for this video footage as well.
Oh, that's unsettling.
Oh, yeah.
We do.
Sounds like it's just mimicking noises.
Yeah, it sounded like he was in like the forest here, like a park ranger or something.
Yeah.
And the sounds of nature.
Come on
But
out,
you
it's the police.
cry a little more, please. Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Yep. And we've seen that face before.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like it ripped him in half.
Yeah. Bro.
Yeah.
That's fucking horrifying.
Assuming that this is also one of the, mind you, assuming that that's also one of the ones that was like doing the break-ins and stuff, it gets even more freaky to think about because like it was definitely mimicking the sounds it like heard.
Yeah.
So that was one of the children it could have possibly had killed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was tape 8 of Greylock. There was a lot of different things going on there, but like you heard him say, you know, he leaves all that stuff to Jim Melgren.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we already know he's the investigator that's trying to get to the bottom of all this malarkey.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to it. Yeah, it's pretty insane so far.
Yeah. I would say we could watch the other ones, but like I said, the other 4 episodes, like the tape 12's 33 minutes. This
Yeah.
one's only 2 minutes. Tape 10's 20 minutes and then 12 minutes. And let me tell you, these are where it starts getting even more creepier. So I can't wait for us to cover these.
That's literally crazy that people listening have to come back for a part 2. Oh wow. However, will
That's
you cope?
so wild. Oh my gosh,
Oh
that
my
never
god.
happened
It's
before.
almost like you'll have to like and subscribe and make sure you're following and etc. so that you see whenever we do part 2. Ah.
Why don't you give them your thoughts on Greylock so far?
It's very unsettling, which is something I really like.
Oh yeah.
I really like whenever something of the horror variety, instead of just trying for cheap jump scares or trying for whatever, actually puts together a cohesive story and does something creative and actually gets me feeling uncomfortable. Kind of
Yeah.
like the whole goal with horror is just to feel uncomfortable, at least for me, I guess. Maybe some
Yeah.
people just want to be entertained by kills, whatever, practical effects. That's great. It is.
Yeah.
I like feeling unsettled. I like feeling a little bit uneasy. You know, I watch a comedy to feel laughter. I watch a horror to feel uneasy or
Sick to your stomach, even.
yeah, for sure. Sometimes you gotta change up the monotony of life and feel something different.
Yeah. Get a nice variety of feelings going.
I like the story so far. I can tell that there's a lot going on. I can tell that there's gonna be a lot of callbacks. I can tell that we're gonna keep finding these characters doing new things that are really interesting.
Yep.
I like
Definitely
it.
going to be a lot of like connections being drawn real soon.
As the person who has delved into it quite a lot, what are your overwhelming feelings towards the past few episodes? Like, how do you feel about everything?
Like they're starting to draw some connections, right? Like they're doing very good of like, you know, connecting it, like because he even talked about like, oh, the mysterious disappearing pregnancy and all the attacks and stuff that happened back in episode 4. Like
Okay.
they're doing a lot more drawing it together, and I will tell you this, the next few episodes are going to even like draw even more connections and get even weirder.
Sick.
Speaking because I've watched them at least multiple times, and they are just really well done.
Yeah, if I haven't said that, I have not watched any of these. This is my first thing, and that's why Junie's taking the reins and leading me down this little fun path.
Mm-hmm.
He's leading you down this fun little path too, if you're listening. Hell yeah.
If it's your first time viewing and you're listening in and you're watching it along with us, let me tell you, it's great stuff. This is a very good introduction to analog horror.
Yeah. I mean, so far from what I've experienced, I enjoy it. Kind of always wanted to dive into it, and Junie's my little fucking guide.
I am
My
very good at
fucking
this.
my Virgil, if you will, not my virgin. He claps cheeks all the time.
No, not really, but thanks anyways.
It's okay. We can pretend.
Yeah, we'll pretend.
I think that'll do it for now. We'll come back for a part 2 soon. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I will leave both Junie and I's links in the fucking description. We love you. Take care of yourselves.
Y'all have a good one.